Got a couple people coming on. I'm not going to talk much, but I'm working on the computer this afternoon, and I've got Spry tied out. I don't want to talk because I don't really want to distract her, but she's doing exactly what I want her to do. She's fighting that tie out right now. So I'm going to not pay attention to her. She's sitting right next to me. But I really want you guys to see her give the pressure to the neck. She's been pulling and wrestling with it. In the very beginning, you actually heard her kind of cough because she's pulled her neck so tight. So most of the afternoon, she's been pretty good on it. Again, I'm pretending I'm not even looking at her. Now that I've talked, she's kind of paid attention to me. You can see how tight. You can see how tight she's got the cord. She's just finally, after hours, she's kind of finally realizing that she's tied into this thing. She doesn't like it. That's why I'm not attached to the other end of it. So I'm just going to leave this here. It's going to be pretty boring. But I want you guys to see her fighting this and figuring it out. And she's finally just settled, but she was really pulling on it before. I'm just going to see what she does. That right there was important. Did you see how she backed up and stared at that? She stared right at that leash where it's tied off. Now she's picking it up and carrying it around in her mouth. That I don't mind. That tells me she's a little retriever. She likes to carry stuff in her mouth. I see that a lot when pups carry the leashes around. That's fine. So that was a real boring couple minutes, but reason I'm showing it is because I've had her tied out on there for a couple hours today. I've let her out to go to the bathroom, but I brought her in and I put her back on it. She's whined some, she's fussed some, she's settled down somewhat, not to the point where I would really call her settling. She's never laid down, she's never stopped fighting it, but she got into the reason I went live was because she got into a little bit where she was really pulling hard on it and really putting some pressure on her neck, and you could see her figuring out how to turn the pressure off. This is just frustration. She's frustrated, but this is teaching her some patience too. I'm not going to let her off of there if she's whining and fussing. She hasn't been too terrible vocal. I know someone just asked a question, what do you do about her whining and crying? Nothing, Matt. I'm not going to reward it. But she's going to figure it out. So it's a test of patience on my part because I don't like sitting here listening to it either. But she hasn't been awful. How long have you been doing this with her? Adam asked. I think we started doing it last week. When the weather got nice, we started doing it outside. She was much quieter outside. She didn't bark or yip or whine nearly as much outside. Inside, there's a lot more temptation. I'm sitting here, so she's really searching for me to acknowledge her. So that's why I was quiet for so long. I just don't want her to even think I'm looking at her. But you can see, you'll notice how she'll go to the end and she'll start to pull on it. And what does she do? She backs up 1 or 2 steps. See that? She pulled tight, and then what did she do? She backed up 2 steps and sat down. So what she's doing is she's learning to understand that in order to turn that uncomfortable feel on my neck off, I have to get closer to that. So she's figuring that out on her own. So I don't want to be on the other end of it at this point. This is the step that I want her to start getting used to and learning without me being attached to it. Because pretty quick I am going to be attached to it. And I want her to understand the way to turn off the pressure and make it not feel uncomfortable on my neck is to get closer to the stake in the ground, or the hand, in this case the handle on the door, or in that case it would be me. So that's going to get her closer to my heel zone. So this is a really nice change. Notice how she's smart enough to take a step back so that the lead is loose. Now, just prior to me going live, she kind of had a face-off with the leash, where she turned and she was actually facing that. She was staring at it, and she had it pulled right tight to her neck, and she just froze. And I think she was waiting to see who was going to give in first. Well, guess what? That leash and that door is not going anywhere. So she had to figure out, you know what? In order for me to turn this off, I'm going to have to come closer to the door. So she took 2 steps forward, and all of a sudden that pressure wasn't on her neck anymore. Now notice this change. This is what I've been looking for. There it is. Very good. Yeah, you. Very good. Now, I'm not going to give her any more praise. That's good. I'm going to let her off of there shortly. But you guys actually got, if timing-wise it couldn't have been any better, you guys saw the first change she's had on the leash. It's the first time she's laid down after being tied out. So I couldn't have timed that any better, but she was fussing pretty good there and pulling on it pretty good, so that's why I wanted to go live and just show you guys that. But this is steps that we're going to do prior to heel work. She does this for me for a couple days, and she figures out how to settle down quickly and turn the pressure off and just lay down. Then we're going to really start thinking about getting on a little bit of lead work. What do you do about a dog in the kennel crying? Same thing, Matt. I don't do anything about it. That dog's going to have to learn that crying is getting him nowhere. So it's a test of will, who can outlast the other. Sometimes these dogs get so noisy and whiny that we just can't help it. We got to let them out. It's the only way to shut them up. That's like putting out a fire with a can of gasoline. It's just going to make it worse. So if they're crying, I don't do anything, Matt. Cover their kennel. Sometimes that helps. Make it dark.
make it less distracting, cover the kennel up. I do that. That usually settles pups down. If you absolutely cannot stand it, I'll put them in a different room. I'll put them in the garage. I'll put them somewhere else. If I physically can't stand it, now that goes back, Matt, to you with your. It's going to test your ability and your patience. How much can you stand without giving in? It's a test of will. That little puppy was whining. You guys trust me. I can't stand a puppy that whines. I can't stand a dog that yips and whines and fusses. I hate it. It makes my hair on the back of my neck stand up. As soon as this puppy whines in the morning, I jump out of bed like someone's robbing our house because I just can't stand the sound of it. But I have to tolerate it and get through it in order to have them understand, in order for me to get off this leash, in order for me to get out of this kennel, I just gotta settle in. I gotta shut up. And once they figure that out, now I'm gonna let her rest for a little bit, but I'm not gonna let her wake up. Before she wakes up, I'll be letting her off. I'll come over there and tell her how good she is, and I'll let her right off of there. I'll take her outside, she'll go to the bathroom, and then we're gonna probably be packing up and heading home. We're going live tonight, guys. We're gonna do that call-in, and we're gonna do it at 7 o'clock. So I'm probably going to start going live around 6:30, 6:45. I'm going to go through a short routine with Spry. I'm going to build off of our success this morning. We had a really nice session this morning. I'm not adding anything to it. I'm going to do the same exact thing. Hopefully have the same success. And then we're going to do a live call tonight with Jennifer. Jennifer's got a dog that's pretty aggressive. Jennifer's got a dog that's biting and being possessive with retrieving and food. And so she messaged in last week. She sent me some videos. She's going to send me some more videos. Bear with me on the techie part of it because I'm going to make sure that this is going to work. But we're going to try to do a live call with her and try to hear. I want to hear some stuff because I think that might help as well. That's just easier than typing questions. So, at what height is okay? At what height is okay for the anchor part of the leash? Chris, I don't normally do it this way. Normally I put a stake in the ground that swivels so that she doesn't get tangled up. It's been too cold outside and I wanted to do this, so I just rigged this up. I don't think it matters at what height. I could put this down to one lower, but then if you'll notice, when she stretches that as tight as she can, she gets right to here. She can't get at my stuff. So I want it to be, the objective with this length is specifically so she can't get at stuff. So I don't think the height thing is a matter. It's I prefer to stake them out in the ground, just with a swivel stake. Make sure it swivels. I like about a 6-foot cable. 8 is okay. 10's too much, I think. Real hard to get a spot that they don't get tangled up in. So you gotta get a good setup. Good example of how this works. Yeah, it was perfect the way she laid down. First time she's laid down in hours, guys. So I just happened to time it right. But how high is too high? How short is too short? I think I answered that, Chris. It doesn't matter. It's just got to be effective. So because I'm doing this in my shop right now, I thought, like I looked through here. I looked through a bunch of different spots. Where could I put this thing? I thought about putting it on the leg of the table. I think I could probably do that. There's a little bit more stuff for her to get at there, so I didn't want to. I thought about maybe putting it on the leg of the pallet rack. Well, then I'm afraid she's going to be up into those boxes and tangled into the crates. So I just had to figure out a spot that I could anchor her. If I had something solid that I could anchor into the concrete in the middle of the floor, that would have been perfect too. But I figured out that if I tie her flat to the wall, there's nothing for her. She can't get at anything. I've moved everything that used to be here. So that rope is just short enough that she can't get at stuff. What about an older dog? Same thing, Matt. Habits are formed. So I'm assuming that this means the crying and whining in the kennel. Same thing. They cannot get rewarded for that noises, for squeaking and whining. That's when The Bachelor's on. Mike, DVR The Bachelor, or you can watch ours after. Hey, priorities in life, Mike. We deal with that every day. You gotta make choices. Super excited for the live tonight. We should be getting our supplies tomorrow. Excellent, Kaylee. Cotton fundamental video. Yep, that cots came in last week, guys. So if you ordered them and they were back ordered, they went out on Friday. So depending on where you live, I know some people got them already and others will be getting them. So I used a nylon one early. Big mistake. You wanted to chew. Yeah, Chris, I would prefer a steel cable. She has not proven to me that she's a chewer yet, thankfully. You know why she's not a chewer, guys? because I haven't given her stuff to chew on. You want to create a chewing dog, give them stuff to chew on. So luckily I haven't formed that habit yet, but you're right, eventually that she would chew through this, so I will go with a short steel cable. They come wrapped in plastic, they're pretty nice. Have you ever had a dog break out of a kennel? I used to have a pet carrier with the screws connected on the bottom, bending the door, and also had wire crates and dogs that bent the wire. Yes. Yes, I have, Zach. Not very often with dogs I have, but I've heard of a lot of people with dogs that break out of kennels. So part of that is I think it comes from not necessarily introducing kennels the way I recommend to do it. I don't think kennels should be punishment. Kennels should be something that the dogs want to go in, feel safe in, don't necessarily want to break out. Dogs that have some issues when it comes to being contained or kenneled up or separation and all that stuff, those are the ones that I think we have issues with. So if we can avoid those problems early on, it makes it a lot easier down the road. Looking forward to the live call tonight. Shaldag is in. Yes, we're going to do it. I think 7 o'clock, guys, is what I'm shooting for the call. Probably 1:45-ish. I'll go live and do a short. I want to do my short repetition, be consistent with the pup. So I don't reward, but sometimes I tell them to be quiet. And at some points, that's okay, Matt. The problem is if it becomes repetitive of you telling them to be quiet, they read that as there's some attention, I might as well keep doing it. So we just have to make sure that they understand that that's not gaining the attention that they're looking for. Jackson Schulke joined in. Boy, good numbers, guys, for mid-afternoon here, late afternoon. So again, I just wanted to do a short live with this puppy and show her settling in on a tie-out. She's been very good on the tie-out. Probably the best puppy I've had on tie-out ever, in the idea of her fighting, fussing, and whining. So she's been very good. Today was the first time she really bucked it, and she was pulling pretty good when I first went live. I started talking, and that kind of turned her off of that. So she was pulling, she pulled to the neck. If you watch towards the end, it's real interesting how that pressure to the neck, how she's learning to turn it off. So I might be there. Very good. Yeah, we're talking about you. So before she gets too wound up, I want her to understand that that's what I was looking for. So I might have missed it. So we might be back riding the wagon here of whines and fusses. But as soon as she settles in, I'm going to let her off of it and have her understand that giving to the pressure of the neck is what gets it, not fussing and fighting. Separation anxiety so bad he tries to chew himself out of a metal cage. He'll be covered in slaughter. Yeah, I hear about those, Sasha. I hear about that stuff. I think I had someone ask me about introducing to the kennel today. One of the things I think you can do is feed them in it. Open door. Don't turn it into a game of get them in there and slam the door shut. We're not hurting cattle. We're trying to get these dogs to feel comfortable in this thing. They should feel safe in it. Most of my dogs, if I leave the door open, will go lay in it voluntarily. So, Willie Marlin, how's Willie doing? Won't be able to see the call-in tonight. Have an archery league. It'll be on your page afterwards. Yes, it will, Jake. So 7 o'clock, guys. Jennifer's going to call in. We're going to go through her issues. She's got nipping, biting, some food aggression. She's got a bunch of issues that we're going to talk about. I should have some videos to watch and show you guys that she's hopefully sending me yet. Mike's going to have to make a tough choice between The Bachelor and going live. Hey, like I said, man, life's full of decisions. And Jeff makes a dig on him. All right, so guys, I just wanted to show that settle in. I missed it. I missed the praise. I should have went and let her off when she laid down. I'll ride this out again. When she gives in again, I'll be there quickly to reward her and let her know that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to finish up. If you guys want to look at these, I got a bunch of people's names, envelopes that are going to go out. So Ryan, that was you, my Shaldag. So I'm finishing up some of those. I'm finishing up a whole bunch of catch-up. So if you've had messages into me and you haven't heard back from me, it's likely you will today. If I can get through them all. If not, I'll just keep catching up as we go. So Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your patience with some of these questions. So tonight, 7 o'clock, about 6:45, we'll probably go live, and 7 o'clock is the call-in. So we'll see you guys then. And Spry says thanks.